Hey guys, Dusty here. I just finished my first run in my new pair of Saucony Endorphin Pros, and this video is going to be my first impressions review. Okay, so first run done. I did 10K in just over 39 minutes with an average pace of 354 a kilometer. I had an average heart rate of 157 beats per minute, and that was over a course that had 85 meters of elevation gain. The run felt great. I did some of it easy, some of it hard, kind of just to put this shoe through a wide range of paces for its first run. And before I get into my thoughts of what I actually think about this shoe, let's go over some of the basic stats. So the Endorphin Pro has an 8mm heel to toe drop with 37.5mm stack height in the rear and 25.5 in the forefoot. My men's size 8.5 weighs in at 7.2 ounces or about 200 grams. And let's get started with the upper. So the upper on the Endorphin Pro is pretty basic, just a nice lightweight mesh, really breathable. The tongue is really nice. It's thin but not too thin, and it is heavily gusseted on both sides, so you shouldn't have any issues with it slipping over from side to side. Laces are really basic, but I didn't have any issues with them coming undone, at least in my first run. For those of you that care, the insoles on the Endorphin Pro are removable. The heel counter in the shoe is incredibly flexible. There's basically no structure to the heel on the shoe, which you have to remember, this shoe is all about going fast. It's mostly a race day shoe, so that hopefully isn't going to be a huge issue for many of you. Now we'll move on to the midsole of the shoe. This midsole features Saucony's Power Run PB foam, and the type of foam that's in this midsole is a PBA foam, so that's similar to what Nike uses in their Zoom X foam, so same sort of foam that's in the Vaporfly and the Alpha Fly. And this foam is certainly squishy and bouncy, but it's nowhere near the amount of bounce or squish that's found on the Alpha Fly and the Vaporfly. Sandwiched in this midsole, and I believe it actually follows the black line here on the outside, is an S-shaped carbon fiber plate. And not only is that going to help propel you forward, but it's also going to help enhance what Saucony calls their Speedroll technology. And basically the Speedroll technology, it works like a rocker or a rocking motion, and it's just going to help rock you forward from heel to toe very smoothly, and it certainly does its job. We move on to the outsole, and there is a decent amount of rubber. The rubber on this outsole is quite thin, but I have a feeling it's quite dense and it's going to be fairly durable as far as a racing shoe goes. And the roads were wet when I did my 10K run, but it was mostly an out and back, so I didn't get to take any corners really tight. But I think this shoe is going to be able to grip really, really well on wet surfaces. The Endorphin Pro does fit true to size, and I think this shoe is going to be able to fit quite a wide range of different foot types. I personally didn't have any issues with the fit on my first run. I know some people do complain about some heel slippage. However, there are the extra eyelets at the back here, so you can do the runners or the heel lock and lock that heel in a little bit tighter. Alright, so what did I think of the shoe? I think this shoe is probably the most comfiest racing shoe I've ever put on my foot. This shoe for me, especially at the marathon distance, is only has one competitor in my mind, and that is the Vaporfly Next Percent. I'm trying really hard not to make this video a direct comparison versus the Vaporfly Next Percent. I need a few more runs in this shoe before I can fully compare the two shoes. And I think at the marathon and the half marathon distance, you'd be hard pressed to find a better shoe than the Endorphin Pro or the Nike Vaporfly Next Percent. So how'd this shoe feel when I was out running? It felt ultra smooth. Like I said, I did some easier running, I did some faster running, I even changed my foot strike, so I did some of the running heel striking, I tried to land more my forefoot, my midfoot, and it felt good through all of that. It definitely does feel better at faster paces, and ultimately it was very, very easy to cruise along at a decent clip while in the shoe. It definitely doesn't have that aggressive pop or spring-like action that the Vaporfly has, so I don't know if I'm convinced this is a faster shoe, but let's leave that to my comparison video after a few more runs. The price of the Endorphin Pro, in my opinion, is a fantastic price. It comes in at 250 Canadian or 200 US, and the reason I say that's a fantastic price is because that's way less expensive than the Nikes. So over the past year, I've reviewed 6 carbon fiber plated shoes, and the Endorphin Pro and the Vaporfly Next Percent are definitely head and shoulders above the rest. So coming in at 250 or 200 US is a fair price in my opinion. I haven't tried any of the other shoes in the Endorphin lineup, but I really like what Saucony's doing, giving runners a chance to have the Endorphin Pro for their racing shoe, the Speed for their kind of faster training shoe, and then the Shift for a daily trainer. I think that's really smart marketing, and if you can sell a runner 3 pairs of shoes all the time, then good for you. Other than that, I don't have much to say about this shoe. I've only spent 10K in it so far, but I really enjoyed what I've experienced in it so far. So let me put a few more miles on this shoe over the next few weeks, and I'll get into more of a full review and maybe a direct comparison between this and the Vaporfly Next Percent. So if you like my first impressions review, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, and I'll see you in the next video.